Now, what is the final structural arrangement in DNA and RNA? Now, I am going through the final structure of the DNA. Okay. Now, this final structure of the DNA explained by two great scientists called James Watson and Francis Crick. Before that, in the year 1869, a scientist called Frederick Miescher was able to identify and isolate DNA from the cells separated from the bandages, or the pus cells separated from the bandages, and he named those structures as nucleins. Later, a scientist called Altman changed the name from nucleins to nucleic acid. They got this particular name since these molecules were extracted from the nucleus of the cell, and almost maybe after a century, now it's like in the year 1953, two great scientists, namely James Watson and Francis Crick, simply Watson and Crick, proposed a very fascinating structure, but a simple structure of DNA called duplex model of DNA. But they were able to propose this particular duplex model of DNA, with the help of great works of two different scientists, namely Rosalind Franklin and Maurice Wilkins. So, what exactly they have done? They have taken X-ray diffraction. They have taken X-ray diffraction pattern or the data of the DNA. So, using the X-ray, they have taken a kind of photograph of a DNA. By referring to the X-ray diffraction pattern taken by Rosalind Franklin and Maurice Wilkins, same time they also got the help of the great work conducted by a scientist called Erwin Chargaff. What exactly Erwin Chargaff did do? He has taken he has conducted a kind of biochemical estimation of different components present in the structure of a DNA molecule, where he came to know that in the structure of a DNA, the proportion of adenine present is always equal to thymine, and the proportion of guanine present is always equal to cytosine. That means some total of A plus G in a DNA molecule is always equal to T plus C, or A plus G by T plus C is equal to 1. Now, this particular idea given by the Erwin-Chargaff, that is, now this is known as Erwin-Chargaff's rule. So, where he shown that the structure of a DNA, the number or the amount of adenine molecule will remain same with the thymine, and the guanine molecules will remain the same with the cytosine. And this particular information as well as the X-ray diffraction data given by Rosalind Franklin and Maurice Wilkins helped James Watson and Francis Crick to propose one of their famous model of duplex model of DNA. Which is also known as double helix model. Once again, you can expect one more question. Who proposed double helix model of DNA? For which in the year 1962 James Watson and Francis Crick shared Nobel Prize along with Maurice Wilkins. Unfortunately, Rosalind Franklin was not there to receive Nobel Prize. It is very unfortunate that she passed away in a young age. It is very unfortunate. Otherwise, there was a great contribution initially from the side of Rosalind Franklin, and she was not there to receive Nobel Prize. And Nobel Prize finally got shared between James Watson, Francis Crick and Maurice Wilkins for proposing the double helix model of DNA. And you might be asked a 5-mark question. Explain the double helix model of DNA. For explaining it, those 3 scientists got a Nobel Prize, but you will be getting only 5 marks. Okay, that is fantastic. Now, what exactly they have proposed or what exactly they have explained in the double helix model of DNA? Now, we are going through it. Okay, in the beginning, I explained that DNA is nothing but a polynucleotide. DNA is nothing but a polynucleotide. Now, in the structure of DNA, DNA is nothing but the combination of pentose sugar joined with a phosphate group and a nitrogen base. Once again, the repetition, You will find the phosphate group here between two nitrogenous bases, and you will find a pentose sugar joined with a nitrogenous base, and the pattern will continue. And here we saw phosphoester bond formed between this phosphate group and third carbon atom of the pentose sugar here, and the pattern will continue. Once again, we can find a phosphate group here and a pentose sugar and a nitrogen base, and you see in the similar way pattern gets continued. I will draw another nucleotide here which has a pentose sugar. Now you see it's joined with a phosphate group. So here phosphodiester bond binding them together, and AGC here will take so thymine. So here you can find a polynucleotide, can be of DNA or RNA. The pattern will remain same both in DNA as well as RNA. Now, how exactly it will form the final stable structure in case of DNA as explained by Watson and Crick in their double helical model. So, according to them, this double helical model has a double, you see, the DNA in its ultimate structure, it has two such kind of polynucleotide strands, and hence double. Now you see, you locate it from the other side. Once again you should find a pentose sugar here, and it is associated with the phosphate group, and you locate adenine here. I will tell you why in the similar way. Once again a pentose sugar which has a phosphate group, and it has the nitrogenous base as a thymine. Once again I will tell you why exactly thymine here later. Then you locate a next nucleotide which has a pentose sugar which has a phosphate group and which has a nitrogenous base. Now I am placing cytosine here, and once again one more nucleotide. You locate pentose sugar here, and the pentose sugar once again has the phosphate group, and now I am placing guanine as a nitrogen base here. Okay, now in the double helix, Watson and Crick explained that DNA is made up of two anti-parallelly running polynucleotide strands. Okay, just imagine this polynucleotide has a third carbon atom end here. That is why it is known as a 3' end, the other side which has a fifth carbon atom associated with a phosphate. I have mentioned the term anti-parallel. That means if it has a 5 prime polarity here, it has a 3 prime polarity in the opposite strand, and it is exactly in the opposite side it has a 5 prime polarity. They are couples, they are like couples, but they are having opposite polarity. ಅಂದರೆ ಅಣ್ಣ ಅವರು ಆ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಮುಖ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಅಮ್ಮ ಅವರು ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ ಒಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಸೈಡಿಗೆ ಮುಖ ಮಾಡಿ ಕುಂತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಡಿ ಎನ್ ಎ ಕೇಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿ ಎನ್ ಎ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೋ ಸ್ಟೇಬಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಮದುವೆ ಆಗಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಡಿ ಎನ್ ಎ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಟೆಡ್ ವಿತ್ 2 different anti-parallel but complementary polynucleotide strands. You should notice the term complementary. ಅಣ್ಣ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಮತ್ತು ಅಮ್ಮ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಸ್ವಭಾವ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಇದ್ದರೂ ಅದೆರಡೂ ಸೇರಿದಾಗ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಮ್ಯಾಚಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇರಲಿ. ಸೊ how these two strands join together? They have joined together by forming one more type of bond called hydrogen bond, and this bonding is also very specific. When thymine paired with the adenine, it formed 2 hydrogen bonds between these two, and now you see as a result these are bases, nitrogen bases, and because of the pairing they have formed base pairs here. And now you see here thymine paired with the adenine, and the similar pattern adenine is pairing with the thymine, and guanine paired with the cytosine, but here the tradition is slightly different. Here pairing with the help of forming 2 hydrogen bond, but between GC they have formed 3 hydrogen bonds, and between CG the pattern will remain the same. Once again 3 hydrogen bonds. As a result they have formed base pairs, the nitrogen bases of 2 anti-parallelly running complementary polynucleotide strands, and hence finally the structure of DNA became a double stranded structure. That is the first information given by Watson and Crick in their double helical model. Okay, now it is not final. Now it looks like a ladder. In this ladder, you see, backbone of the ladder is made up of repeated arrangement of phosphate group, pentose sugar, phosphate group, pentose sugar, phosphate group, pentose sugar, phosphate group, pentose sugar. There is no change. The pattern is same throughout the structure, and even in the opposite strand also the pattern is same throughout the structure of a DNA molecule. But you see, the difference you can notice in the arrangement pattern of base pairs. It can be TA, or it can be AT, or it can be GC, or it can be CG. Now there is no harm if I place only TA continuously 1000 times, or maybe TA for 10 times, then AT for 5 times, GC for 2 times, CG for 10 times. Now you see, this is the beauty of the DNA strand. It will provide n number of possibilities in making the arrangement of these nitrogen base pairs, and hence it provides scope for constructing different types of DNA molecules by keeping the same structural components, that is 4 different types of nucleotides. That is the beauty of DNA. Now you see, by keeping these 4 letters of AGTC, it can bring n number of varied combinations in a different DNA molecule. So, that is the beauty of the basic structural pattern in the DNA molecule. Okay. Now, so double helix model is not stopped here, and they continued that this particular DNA to bring further stability. So, it got coiled in a right handed fashion. So, that one you can see here. Hope you can make out the double strand, one strand here, second strand here. Now, you just imagine it like a ladder. Now, in its final structure, this straight ladder got changed into a spiral step like structure, and the coiling observed here, you see, from right side to the left. That is why it is called right handed coiling. It is called right handed coiling. Hope you got the idea. And when it comes to the right handed coiling, they explain that from one base pair to next base pair. So, here you can find one particular base pair. Now, here you see, you can find the base pair between G and C. That is why you can locate 3 hydrogen bonds, one here and another one here, and here the formation between G and C. So, G is a purine and C is a pyrimidine. Now, this is the idea given by Erwin Chargaff. G always pairs with C with the help of a 3 hydrogen bond. And here you see, I have separated 2 different nucleotides here, and here you can find T, and here you can find A. Now, you see, purine is adenine and your pyrimidine is thymine, and they are forming 2 hydrogen bonds between them, and formed a base pair. Okay. Now, here you can locate the red colored one as cytosine and blue colored one as guanine, and the yellow colored one as thymine, and the green colored one as adenine. Now, this particular pattern will remain same in any type of DNA. Okay. Now, what exactly I am telling is, as they explain, in this double helical structure, the distance between 2 base pairs, now you see, this particular distance between 2 base pair will also remain almost constant, that is 0.34 nanometer. Now, the distance between adjacent base pair. Adjacent base pair distance is 0.34 nanometer, which is equal to 3.4 angstrom. Okay. As a result, when it completes 10 such kind of base pairs, now you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which completes a complete rotation, a 360 degree rotation, which is called a pitch. That's why the length of one pitch from here to here, this particular length, here to here to here, this pitch is called, now you see, here to here, there are 10 base pairs, and this pitch length is, since the distance between one base pair is 0.34 nanometer into 10, you will get the distance of pitch. Pitch of the helix is 3.4 nanometer or 34 angstrom. Now, number of bases after the completion of a pitch, number of base pairs in a pitch are 10, and as I mentioned, these are anti-parallel. Now, together, same time I have mentioned about the opposite polarity, and in this way finally it will form a double helix structure of DNA. So, here, so points to be noted are double stranded, same time anti-parallel, same time with the opposite polarity, same time with the a purine always pairing with a pyrimidine, that is T with A with 2 hydrogen bonds and G with C with the help of 3 hydrogen bond, and same time when they form this spiral structure, they will also maintain a constant radius, they will also maintain a constant radius, of 2 nanometer, 2 nanometer or 20 angstrom as a radius. And same time you see, one more aspect should be remembered here is from one base pair to next base pair. Now you will see one base pair to next base pair. Now here we are considering base pairs as steps of the ladder. Now no doubt they are parallel, and this distance is 0.34 nanometer, but same time as they shift from one base pair to next base pair, it takes the rotation of 36 degree, and you bring the next base pair once again takes 36 degree rotation. That is why when it completes 10 such kind of bases, it will take one complete pitch or 360 degree rotation. Hope you got the idea. That is why you see now this ladder in the final structure arranged in the form of a helix or in the form of a spiral step. Hope you got the idea. Now, with this particular structure as proposed by Watson and Crick, by taking the help of Rosalind Franklin and Maurice Wilkins, also the aspects mentioned by Erwin Chargaff, finally they were able to propose the double helix model of DNA. Now, this particular helical pattern in the structure of the DNA made the DNA very stable chemically as well as structurally, but same time when it comes to the RNA, RNA did not form double helical structure. Basically, RNA remained unmarried, bachelor only. So, as a result, the single strand of the RNA, when it compared with the double helix model of the DNA, their RNA remained comparatively less stable than DNA, both chemically as well as structurally. And here it explained how exactly a DNA molecule is formed, or now we are very clear with the structure of this particular DNA. Now you see, with the possibility of the varied permutation and combination in the arrangement pattern of these base pairs, it can write the information for or information of varied characters of a particular organism. Now you see, it is providing n number of possible patterns, and same time a particular DNA may possess a varied number of base pairs or varied number of nucleotides in its structure. Now, for example, when we consider the DNA of so now when we consider the length of DNA present in a bacteria called Psi 174, is a kind of a bacteriophage. The length of a DNA here is 5386 nucleotides. So, this much length of the DNA has stored all the information related to the characters of this particular virus called Psi 174 bacteriophage. And when it comes to a kind of bacteriophage called bacteriophage lambda, the length of the DNA found here is 48,502 base pairs. When it comes to the nucleotides, it will become double, and a very common, most discussed Escherichia coli bacteria has 4.6 into 10 to the power 6 base pair length of DNA. And finally, when it comes to the haploid content, when it comes to the haploid content of human DNA, the length comes up to 3.3 into 10 to the power 9 base pairs. Length of the DNA vary from a particular species to species. Same time, the pattern of arrangement of this base pair also vary from species to species. This particular variation with respect to the length of the DNA as well as with respect to the pattern of arrangement of base pair make the DNA to store different informations for or related to different characters. That is why though the genetic material remain as a DNA same for all different organisms, the type or the pattern of arrangement of base pairs vary from organism to organism. So, that brings great variety and variation in the information storage in different species.